Hi, I'm Maddie. I am the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan's Wellbeing Coordinator, and today, for the Wellbeing Tip of the Week, I'm going to discuss talking about prepping your protein ahead of time. So if you're going to do any type of prep, this is probably the most important thing that you can do, because sometimes the protein is the hardest thing or the longest thing to cook. So, and that's one of the things that if you want to feel fuller, you want to feel more satiated, getting your protein in is going to be key for a lot of different components of our body. So it's one of those things to not skip out on if you're going to be like prepping food. It's always going to be to prep your protein and make sure you get an adequate amount in each meal. So what we always do is that we'll set a crock pot. So we'll have it set up, and we'll always batch cook like some protein so that we know that we have something for the week. Whether we do this in the crock pot or we do it on the stove, if we do it for, say we're making tacos one night, we never really cook just 1 pound of meat. We always make extra so that we have leftovers for another meal throughout the week, or we have leftovers for like lunch or something like that. So, or even breakfast. So we always cook more protein than we know what we need for the meal. Same thing with burgers, same thing with any type of meal that we do. You can do this with beans too, kind of prep them, soak them, beans, lentils, all that stuff, and just kind of soak them ahead of time and make those ahead as your protein. So that's just one of the things that makes it really quick and easy that you can just grab and go, and those things you don't have to think about when it comes to cooking your meals. So today, what I'm going to do is we are cooking some chicken ahead of time so that we can add to our lunches, that we can add to meals if we want to, and just use it for a meal. And we're like, let's throw some chicken in there. We'll add some different seasonings depending on what the meal is. And so that we have that. That's just something that we have a go-to in the fridge, especially when you don't feel like making it. Perfect time to grill outside right now with it being hot, to not heat up your house. So that's another option as well. That's what we've been doing, is just grilling outside. And you can even do this with like sausage and stuff like that, just kind of pre-cooking all that stuff so that you have it for the week. You can always freeze this stuff. So if you want to make way more than what you think you're going to need for the week and you want to freeze half of it, go right ahead, freeze it. It stays, and you can just thaw it out and use it for the next week or the next meal. So I have my crock pot on low. And what I'm going to do is I have 2 pounds of chicken that I'm going to add. Probably 2 to 3 pounds. I didn't really measure it out. I just kind of put it all in this bowl, and I'm just going to throw it into our pot. So it's still frozen, which we usually, if we're going to throw it in the crock pot, I just keep it frozen. It's simple. I don't have to think about it. You can get all technical with it, but I just like to keep it nice and simple. Then I'm going to add some liquid to it so it doesn't dry out. I always just add just enough to the bottom of it, about 2 cups or so, depending on how much protein you have in there. And then I'll add that so that keeps the moisture in there. I'm going to add some pepper. I don't really measure it out. I just do a couple turns in there, making sure that the flavor and whatnot still tastes good. I really don't season it too much, because if I want to add it and say make tacos for one meal, but then I want to make like a different meal, like say a pasta dish or something like that, I'm just gonna season it, kind of use base seasoning, and then you can add different ones when you start to warm it up or make your other meal. You can do this in the oven too. We just do it in the crock pot, because especially if you're busy working, you have it, you come home to it, it's done. It's something that you don't have to think about when you have extra. So I'm going to add some salt to it. About 2 teaspoons of salt, just because there's so much meat in there. And then what I do is I just cover it, and I'll come back and stir it once it starts to cook a little more. But that's just our easy way to kind of have our protein for the week. You can batch cook anything, but if you're going to cook something, try to do your protein. It's going to do a world of difference for you in the kitchen, and it makes your life that much easier. You don't need a ton of seasonings when it comes to cooking. Literally, you could, if you just wanted to have 2 seasonings, keep it very simple, salt and pepper. So you don't really have to add all the other stuff, but it does add the flavor to it. But simple, easy, is just salt and pepper. And then you can also do stuff on the stove, but always with our meal, our little tips is that, or my little tip is that for each meal, we always make extra so that we know that we have leftovers to use for a different meal. So try not to cook just a pound of something, because then you can use it more. And depending on how big your family is, that's another thing. It can help go towards lunches and stuff throughout the whole family. So try it out, see how it works. Your veggies and stuff you can prep, but there's certain ways to get around that. Protein is going to be the one thing that kind of gets in a lot of people's way from like home cooking a meal or just kind of eating healthy. It's going to be that protein, cooking that ahead of time. So that's your little short, quick well-being tip of the week. If you're going to do any meal prepping, just cook it. This is something I can just leave and go. Don't even have to think about it. Come home, it's done. Just put it in a container or put it in my meal, and there you have it. It's done for the week. So very quick, very simple. Instant pots are very popular now too. So that's another quick, easy way to do it. We don't have one of those. And so this is just how we kind of like make do with what we have. So have a good rest of your week. Please comment below or like it if you want to earn points for the Strive for 5 program, for the Kalamazoo Living Well program. So please comment below. Like I said, I'm Maddie. I'm your well-being coordinator from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. So thank you for joining me today. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.